This episode's brought to you by Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan and use the code Dan for a special offer. And stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving holiday. And if you're a normal person, that means that now is the time to start celebrating Christmas. And for a lot of folks, that means tucking in to some great Christmas movies. And one of the big ones that came out this year is a Netflix original film named Hot Frosty. Now, Hot Frosty is usually a reason why you would ask for a discount at a Wendy's. But in this case, it is a Netflix film about an attractive magical snowman who comes to life and sweeps a grieving widow off of her feet. Now, I originally intended to do a review of the movie, but I decided not to after I watched it because it's pretty standard Christmas fare. But as the days went on, I realized that I couldn't stop thinking about Hot Frosty. This movie had buried itself in my head. And when I stopped to think about why that was, I realized that the only reason that Hot Frosty isn't a horror movie is that this guy turned out to actually be a magical snowman. Otherwise, this movie is packed with terrible life lessons that easily could have turned this into a Christmas true crime story. Now, if you don't know the premise of Hot Frosty, it's about a widowed diner owner played by Lacey Chabert who finds herself catching feelings for a hunky snowman who comes to life during the town's annual snow sculpture competition. Now, one question that's never answered, and I think the movie should have addressed, is what thirsty town person is out there carving naked, anatomically correct himbos at a family snowman competition? I mean, this thing's got nipples and everything. This is what the cops should have been investigating in the movie. Of course, Hot Frosty is a romance, and it's about an adult who slowly falls in love with a snowman whose intelligence goes from childlike to grown-up over the course of the movie, although where those feelings are caught up against the graph of where Hot Frosty's intelligence is can be a little problematic.
I love this house, and I love you.
You don't love me.
Yes, I do. I love you.
No, you don't.
On a morality scale, I would say that Hot Frosty is pretty much the Poor Things of the Netflix Christmas universe. Your approval of the relationship in this movie is really reliant on your assessment of his mental capacity at any given time. Setting that aside, let's go over some of the life lessons that you should have learned from Hot Frosty, which only underscore how lucky it was for the residents of Hope Springs that Christmas magic was afoot and not criminal mischief. Lesson number 1, don't throw away a very sentimental gift from a friend right in front of their place of business. The movie kicks off when Lacey Chabert's Kathy puts a scarf on the hot snowman that was just given to her by her friend, the thrift store owner.
This just came in yesterday, and it reminds me of the night that I met Theo.
This lesson isn't so much about personal safety as it is about preserving personal relationships, but generally it's not a good idea to dispose of a gift that nice right in front of where your friend just gave it to you. You should do what normal people do and just re-gift it without them knowing about it. Lesson number 2, good things do not come to you when you're out in the cold. Hot Frosty is full of Christmas movie platitudes, and we get one very early from that thrift shop owner who's encouraging Kathy to open up her heart, even though she's still grieving the loss of her husband from cancer.
Good things come to you when you're out in the cold, Kathy.
That's a very nice sentiment, but just a quick reminder that generally, good things do not happen to you when you're out in the cold. Best case, we're talking a mild form of hypothermia. Worst case, we're talking frostbite, where you will lose a few toes if you're lucky. Lesson number 3, do not engage with a mentally unbalanced stranger who's already committed multiple felonies, even in the middle of town. So after Hot Frosty comes to life, naked, he streaks around the town square, terrorizing an old couple, then steals some clothes from the thrift store after breaking the front window. And the next day, Kathy sees him talking to the other snowmen in the town square and decides to strike up a conversation.
If it can happen to me, it can happen to you.
Excuse me. Hi.
It's you. Look what happened. Look what happened to me.
Now, this only ends well if you're actually addressing Hot Frosty. In general, if you see somebody in the middle of town talking to a bunch of snowmen, I would recommend keeping your distance because it's far more likely that you're dealing with somebody who has schizophrenia rather than somebody who's just magically been brought to life with a magical scarf. Lesson number 4, do not keep the existence of a stranger who clearly has some sort of mental issue to yourself, even if the vibes are good. So after striking up this conversation, Kathy brings Hot Frosty, who goes by the name Jack in the movie, but I'm just going to call him Hot Frosty because it's funnier, into her family diner, where she talks to her chef, who, for my money, is the most reasonable person in the entire film.
I couldn't just leave him out there, Isaac. I mean, he's clearly delusional.
Should I call the cops?
No, we can't tell Sheriff Hunter.
Or what if he's dangerous? Thank you.
Really not getting a dangerous vibe.
Listen, I'm all about good vibes and helping out the needy, but I'm on the chef's side here because once again, bringing the delusional criminal into your family diner and letting him just sit at the counter eating jelly is probably not the safest move here. Lesson number 5, if a medical professional immediately believes that a hypothermic patient you brought her is a snowman, find another doctor. After noticing that Hot Frosty has a dangerously low body temperature, Kathy brings him to her doctor friend, and after a short examination, the doctor immediately decides to go with the "he's a snowman come to life" diagnosis.
What is the simplest explanation?
That he is a drifter with severe memory loss. Or he's a snowman.
I like a doctor who's open to a bit of whimsy, but I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more professional curiosity. Otherwise, I'd be worried that if I brought in my grandfather with diabetes, she would just diagnose him as being Santa Claus. Lesson number 6, define your cinematic universes. This is more for my own mental well-being. In case you didn't know, there is a shared Christmas universe inside the Netflix Christmas movies, the Netflix Christmas universe, or NCU, if you will. Namely, the cornerstones of this universe are the Christmas Prince and Princess Switch trilogies, with The Night Before Christmas and A Castle for Christmas having direct connections as well. And at one point, Kathy makes a reference to the country of Aldovia, which is from the Christmas Prince films.
Maybe he's telling the truth. Oh, sure, right. And I'm the queen of Aldovia.
Now that's a fun reference, but later in the film, Kathy and Hot Frosty are watching a clip from the movie Falling for Christmas, which is a Netflix Christmas movie starring Lindsay Lohan. Falling for Christmas features an NCU movie on television, meaning that it exists outside of the NCU. So either Kathy's a big fan of these fictional movies and drops a very deep reference in conversation, or we have some kind of multiverse that exists inside the NCU where Aldovia is a real country, but also contains Netflix Christmas movies that reference the NCU as being fictional. It's kind of a holiday paradox. Add in the fact that Kathy makes a reference to Lindsay Lohan looking like a girl she went to high school with, which is a meta reference to Mean Girls.
That is so funny. That looks just like a girl I went to high school with.
And Hot Frosty is threatening to fold the very fabric of reality in on itself like an origami crane. We are dealing with complex metaphysics here, and this silly Christmas movie may pose a greater threat to the universe and the fabric of reality than the Large Hadron Collider ever did. Lesson number 7, even if he is a magical snowman, do not bring a stranger home to live with you. After talking to the doctor, Kathy is persuaded to bring Hot Frosty to live with her at her house, and putting aside the fact that he could still be a hypothermic drifter fugitive, this is still a bad idea just on a snowman level. We don't know snowman ethics. We don't know what Hot Frosty's past is. For all we know, she just brought home snowman Jeffrey Dahmer, and she's not going to find out the truth until it's too late, and she's on ice too. Life tip in general, take a stranger, snowman or not, to a neutral third location before letting them enter your home because you never know what they're going to do. I mean, within hours of Kathy taking Hot Frosty home, he's down in the basement snooping through her husband's medical records.
What's cancer?
Lesson number 8, don't drink eggnog from a stranger.
What's that?
Eggnog. I have no idea what a nog actually is, but it tastes great.
Beyond the general wisdom of not drinking anything that's given to you by a strange person you don't know, eggnog is not the beverage to take a chance with, especially from somebody who was barely functioning at a human level just a few hours earlier. Eggnog is a very delicate drink to make, and if it's not done just right, well, you can say goodbye to the rest of your Christmas. We're going to be looking at Hot Frosty 2, Salmonella for Christmas. Lesson number 9, never ever let somebody who learned roofing on television fix your roof, even if he's a fast learner. Kathy's house is in disrepair due to her husband's death, and because he's a fast learner, Hot Frosty decides to chip in and fix her leaky roof after picking up how to do it by watching television. I cannot stress enough how risky unlicensed roof repair can be. I had mine replaced earlier this year the right way, and it was a multi-month complicated affair. I get that Hot Frosty was trying to be nice and that he took the initiative, but in general, I just have to stress once again that you want licensed, bonded, and insured people working on your roof, or you may have a bigger problem than you already did. Lesson number 10, do not go to a stranger's house after they sexually harass you, especially when it seems like the setup for a porno. I've been giving Hot Frosty a tough time in this video so far, so this one's actually to protect him. Hope Springs is crawling with Christmas magic, as well as cougars who are thirsty for Hot Frosty. And one of them invites him over to her house to do some repair work that thankfully turns out to be actual repair work.
If you could come by and hang it, I'd be very grateful.
Now, at this point in the movie, I think that Hot Frosty is at a point in his development where he probably just needs to be taught not to get into cars with strangers in general. But in this particular situation, if you find yourself being picked up by a cougar and it sounds like she wants to take you to her house and be in a porno, I can guarantee you it's not going to be the kind of porno that you think it will be. At least it's probably not going to be one that you want to be in. Stay away. Just stay home and do your unlicensed roof repair.
Oh, you are definitely coming home with me.
Okay, sure. I'm just gonna put on a shirt.
Lesson number 11. Do not let the strange man who suddenly appeared in town work unsupervised with kids, no matter how nice he is or how hot he looks. After fixing the old lady's light, and thankfully that is not a euphemism, Hot Frosty is able to pick up even more work as a handyman at the local middle school.
My son Brendan is principal at the middle school. They just lost their maintenance staff and they could really use help with the Christmas dance.
That'd be great.
It's traditional at Christmas to say ho ho ho, but I'm saying no, no, no here. Because what middle school would just let some strange dude waltz in, befriend the kids, leave him there unsupervised, allow him to chaperone the dance, and even let him choreograph a dance routine with them? This is only sweet and charming because he's a well-meaning snowman. There are regulations in place to prevent this kind of thing for a reason, and they should not be flaunted. Lesson number 12, don't just wave off blatant identity theft. Hot Frosty does a very nice thing at one point by replacing the shop window that he broke earlier in the movie, but he does it by committing credit card fraud.
There's this site on the computer where you can just order anything you want for people. It's great.
Okay, here's the thing. My computer has my credit card information. So when you use my computer...
Oh, no.
No, it's really okay.
See, if I was Kathy, even if I genuinely believed that this was a snowman brought to life, at this point I'd start questioning everything. Because sure, Hot Frosty is using your money for good now, but you are one small step away from Kathy spending New Year's at home in the dark because the power's been cut off, and the scam artist known as Hot Frosty sitting on a beach in Aruba listening to the true crime podcast about Hope Springs and the Hot Frosty scam, which left a local diner owner bankrupt and the local school children traumatized. Identity theft is not a joke, even if the guy is very sweet and good looking and... Wait a second. Is he wearing my shirt? Oh my God, Hot Frosty stole my shirt. He's stealing my identity. I mean, you know, it's not surprising considering we look exactly alike, but still, this is what I've been saying. Lesson number 13. Yes, people can be mad at Christmas. You do not have a green light to do crime. Hot Frosty does another noble thing later on in the movie by confessing to the thrift shop owners that he was the one who broke their window and stole their clothes, and their response is sweet, but naive.
So you're not mad?
Nobody can be mad at Christmas.
Actually, yes, you can be mad at Christmas. Otherwise, every single year, we would have a month-long Christmas purge where all crime is legal between Thanksgiving and Christmas because nobody can be mad at Christmas, although it seems like the Christmas purge is starting earlier and earlier every year. Also, I'm copywriting right now the idea and name the Christmas purge Universal. I will be waiting for your call. Lesson number 14. It's Christmas is not a valid excuse for any unexplained occurrence. So after Hot Frosty is arrested for the actual felonies that he did commit earlier in the movie, Kathy rallies the town to help save her snowman boyfriend and finds out that they're on board immediately, no questions asked.
You just buy that he's a snowman?
It's Christmas.
A man that sweet's just gotta be magic.
Two things here. First of all, It's Christmas is not an adequate explanation for what's going on. There are spiritual, metaphysical, biological, religious implications to Hot Frosty's existence, and we need a little bit more scientific curiosity. I would be very upset if I opened the Scientific American story about Hot Frosty and the conclusion was, we don't know, it's Christmas. Second, I think it speaks to the men of Hope Springs that when a sweet, kind, compassionate, caring man shows up in town, that the only explanation for that is that he is some kind of an enchanted snowman. What kind of dirtbags usually live in Hope Springs? Plus, the lady who says this is the shopkeeper whose husband has been nothing but nice and forgiving for the whole movie. If I was that guy, I'd be like, hello, yeah, I guess I'm sorry I've devoted my life to running a small business with you. I suppose your life would have been so much better if I was just a magical snowman. Lesson number 15, even if it is Christmas, and even if it is a snowman, do not potentially bankrupt your business to bail him out of jail. So Hot Frosty is in a sweltering jail cell, and Kathy has to come up with bail money before the sheriff leaves him there over Christmas to melt, so she does what any small business owner would do and empties her safe to pay his bail. Now, I get that this is a desperate situation, but she's got employees to think about. I can't think of something worse than having to sit around at Christmas dinner and tell your wife and kids that your hours got cut because your boss used all the diner money to bail out a snowman. And before you tell me that everybody in town actually pays the bail, they actually just chipped in to make up for the shortfall that Kathy didn't have in her safe. So technically, this situation affects them too. I think you may have had a lot of kids in Hope Springs saying, why do we have Christmas presents this year, Mommy? Well, I'm sorry, honey, but a snowman had to get bailed out of jail. You know, he's that guy that hangs around your school now. Lesson number 16, even if you suspect that he's a snowman in human form, don't just leave a dead body lying in the snow. So Hot Frosty gets out of jail, but it appears that it may be too late, and his sweaty snowman corpse is brought out and laid in the snow in the middle of the town square. After Kathy gives him a Christmas kiss, she and the rest of the townspeople turn around and just walk away, leaving him there. It's very lucky that he's revived and turned into a real person by Christmas magic, because best case scenario, if he'd stayed a snowman, he would have melted into a puddle of water that would have made that sidewalk a real icing hazard, would have opened up the city to a lot of liability issues. Worst case scenario, his frozen snowman corpse is just going to be lying there on Christmas morning for the whole town to see, for people to walk their kids by so they can recognize the creepy guy from middle school and ask why he's just lying dead on the sidewalk. I mean, cover him up with a sheet, bury him in snow until spring, do something, don't just leave the guy lying there. Lesson number 17, turning from a snowman into a real person doesn't make you a citizen. Because this is a Christmas movie and not a Lars von Trier film, Hot Frosty does wake up, and now, like Pinocchio, he's a real boy. And just a few days later, Kathy and Hot Frosty pack up to go to Hawaii, where he can now enjoy the sun and warm weather. Except there's no way they're getting on a flight and they ain't driving to Hawaii because Hot Frosty doesn't exist. He has no social security number, no identification card, no proof of his identity in any way that would allow the TSA to let him through a security checkpoint. And because it is after Christmas, the old "it's Christmas" excuse isn't going to cut it. Best case scenario, the government's probably going to suspect him of being an illegal immigrant with a criminal record, by the way, and well, I don't really know what the political situation is inside the Netflix Christmas universe, but it's probably not going to turn out too well for Hot Frosty. Also, I'm still not exactly sure if we're in the Netflix Christmas universe, one of many things that this movie sorely needed to address. So it's an uncertain future for Kathy and Hot Frosty, but at the end of the day, this is just a movie. Of course, it's silly to apply these rules to a story about a magical snowman, but I must stress once again that the reasons the lessons that I just laid out don't apply is because he is a magical snowman. 99.9% of the time, the rules I just laid out won't be a criticism of Christmas magic, it will be a strategy guide to surviving Christmas. So that's why I think that Hot Frosty comes dangerously close to being a holiday horror film. What do you think? Are you going to be watching it over this Christmas break? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video. This video is brought to you by Miracle Made. Nothing feels better on a cold night than tucking into a soft, warm, comfortable bed, and you'll get that feeling every night with Miracle Made sheets. Miracle Made sheets are made with silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA and are designed to be thermoregulating, meaning that they keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Add to that the fact that they're as soft and comfortable as some of the best hotel sheets out there, and you've got a winning combination. I got my second set of Miracle Made sheets last week and immediately put them on my bed so that now I can rotate out the 2 sets that I have so I never have to worry about waking up hot or cold. And these weren't free sheets that got sent to me. I put down my own money to get a second set. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan to try Miracle Made sheets yourself today, and whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today you can save over 40%, and if you use our promo code Dan at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle's so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you're not 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Dan and use the code Dan to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Dan to treat yourself. Thanks to Miracle Made for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for more movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Have a wonderful rest of your Thanksgiving week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.